Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be deck profiling the brand new Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX deck. This is a card that was newly revealed today and it is absolutely absurd. It's such a good card, such a good deck that I'm going to be showing you a straight version that is really aggressive and can hit some pretty high numbers and can even take some one-shots at some points in the game very quickly. So with this deck, you can usually get around probably above 200 damage on the second turn of the game, which is already kind of insane. But to round it all off, you have an ability that accelerates energy and draws you cards, and you have cards like Volcanic. But anyway, let's just get right into their profile. I'm starting off with our main card here. Here he is. This is the Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX. Has an ability, Shadowgate. Once your turn, you can attach a Psychic Energy card from your hand to one of your bench Pokemon. If you do, you also get to draw 2 cards. So it's kind of like Zoroark GX's trade ability, except it accelerates energy, which is probably even better than Zoroark's trade ability. But then we also have an attack for 3 colors energy, G-Max Geist, 10+. It does 30 more damage for each of your Psychic Energy attached to all of your Pokemon. So by using the CALYREX's ability, then you get to stack Psychic Energy on your Pokemon while drawing through your deck to help establish more CALYREX VMAXs to get even more energy on your board. And the ability does stack. So you can have 4 of these in play and attach 4 energy with these abilities and your attachment for the turn. That's 5 energies in a single turn. But the really cool thing about this card is not only is its own straight deck, but it can also be paired with other things like Dragapult, Alchemy, and a whole bunch of other Pokemon that attack for colorless. So this is just going to be a straight version of the deck. So without further ado, let's get right into the deck list. So we have 4 copies of the CALYREX VMAX Shadow Rider. Because you want to be able to have access to all of those abilities. You want to have access to that Shadow Gate as often as you want, and being able to use 4 of them, or 3 or 4 of them in one turn is going to be awesome. You're gonna, even if you only have 3 in play, that's an extra 3 energy each turn. And that's an extra 6 cards without even playing a support Pokemon like Denny or Crobat or a draw supporter. This card is absolutely nuts. So we're going to want to be playing a 4/4 line of that card. So we're also playing 4 copies of the V as well. Now this V is actually not too bad itself. It has an attack for 1 Psychic Energy, Shadow Mist. Your opponent's next turn, they can't play any Special Energy or Stadium cards from their hand. So be a nice little disruption attack that you can use if you're going first, and if you go second, it's your first turn. But we have another attack we're going to want to use instead, and we also have an attack for 3 colors energy, Astral Barrage, and you put 5 damage counters into your opponent's Pokemon. So it's nice to have a really easy way to get through Decidueye in that Astral Barrage attack, because its damage counter is not damage, and I mean you can go through Decidueye. So the V is not bad in its own right, giving this deck a little bit of snipe potential with Astral Barrage and a way to go through this Decidueye. Next, we have 2 copies of the Cresselia. The Cresselia is a new card that was also revealed, and it has an attack for 1 Psychic Energy, Crescent Growth. You get to search your deck for 3 Psychic Energies, or for 1 Psychic Energy, and attach it to one of your Pokemon. But if you go second into your first turn, you also get to search your deck for 3 Psychic Energy and attach to one of your Pokemon instead. So it's like Flare Starter on Volcanion. The only different thing about that on Volcanion is number 1, that Crescent Growth is for Psychic Energies, and number 2, Volcanion lets you put it on your Pokemon any way you like, and Crescent Growth specifically says to one of your Pokemon, so you're going to have to either put it all on your CALYREX or put it all on your Cresselia. You're going to have to choose depending. And then the only other attacker we play is 1 copy of Galarian Corsola V, because it has that 9 aura ability that when it's in the active spot, whenever your opponent attaches an energy card from their hand to one of their Pokemon, you have to put 3 damage counters on that Pokemon. Combined with the Stadium card that also has the same kind of effect as 9 aura, you can be putting a couple damage counters on your opponent's active. But also the attack Hollow Missile 60 and 3 damage counters from your opponent's bench is also a nice attack to have as just an attacker that is not a 3-prizer. And then the last Pokemon that we have is just 1 Crobat V, and one Dedenne GX. The standard stuff here. Let's see if I can. So we have the standard stuff with Crobat and Dedenne. So that is going to be the Pokemon you're just trying to use your Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX's ability to load energy onto your other Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX, your Cresselia or your Cursula, because these are alternate attackers, and this, of course, is going to be your main attacker. He's going to be dishing out most of the damage in this deck. So now let's go to the supporter cards. Obviously, we are going to be playing 4 copies of Professor's Research here. Of course, discard your hand, draw 7. It's going to help you churn through your deck even more. In combination with your Dedennes, your Crobats, and your Shadow Gate ability on your Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX, you're going to be able to draw through like upwards of 10 cards each turn if you play a Research. So you just want to be able to churn out those cards to find your energies to accelerate even more energy with the with the Shadow Rider CALYREX. So Research will help you just find the energies and also just dig through your deck at the fastest possible that you can go. Not only do you have Research though, but we have 4 copies of Sonia. I think this is the perfect deck for Sonia, because usually with this deck, of course, you're going to be going second, so you can have access to Cresselia's attack. But with Sonia, not only does it search out your energy for later in the game, so you can accelerate it onto your Pokemon with your Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX, but it also can help you set up on your first turn going second. You can get out multiple Shadow Rider CALYREX Vs. It can get out your Cresselia, and it can even get out your support Pokemon if you don't just have like a Research in your hand already. So I think 4 copies of Sonia is actually Sonia. I think fits perfectly into this deck. I actually only originally had it in here for searching out CALYREX's more than one at a time and Cresselia's, but then I realized, oh yeah, it also searches energy, basic energy, which is huge because we have another card that searches energy in our deck. Sonia just helps us get that one more energy, because usually we're going to want to be seeing 3 to 4 energy in a single turn. So next we have, of course, we also have 2 copies of Marnie and 2 copies of Boss's Orders. So pretty standard supporter lineup except for the Sonias. Now going into our stadium cards, we have a new one here, and we have 2 copies of Old Cemetery. And it's a stadium card that whenever a player attaches an energy from their hand to one of their Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on the Pokemon, except for Psychic Pokemon. So that means if your opponents say they're playing a Welder deck, they welder onto their 2 energies onto their Sense Scorch. That Sense Scorch, if you have this stadium card in play, Old Cemetery, it'll take 4 damage counters just from weldering. But it doesn't affect you, because all the Pokemon that you're going to be attaching to are going to be Psychic Pokemon, your CALYREX's, Cresselia, and your Cursula. So, yeah, Old Cemetery, it doesn't affect Psychic Pokemon. This is what I'm talking about why we're playing the Cursula. If you have this guy active, the ability can pair really nicely with Old Cemetery as well. Getting into our item cards, of course, we are playing 4 copies of Quick Ball, because not only do we have access to Sonia to get out multiple CALYREXs and our Cresselia, but we can also use Quick Ball to get them out. And then we also have another card to search our Pokemon during our turn. We have 4 copies of Fog Crystal. This is another new card that was revealed. It is an item card, and when you play it, you get to search your deck for either a basic Psychic Pokemon or a basic Psychic Energy and put it into your hand. So this can help you set up your CALYREXs and your Cresselias turn 1, and it can help you get energy into your hand to accelerate and draw some cards with CALYREX. So 4 copies of Fog Crystal. We're going to be having plenty of Pokemon search on our first turn. We're going to have 4 Quick Balls, 4 Fog Crystals, 4 Sonias. You're going to be able to find our Pokemon on our first turn extremely consistently going second. Not only do we have that, but we also have 4 copies of Pokemon Communication. So even more Pokemon search. So we are so consistent, and the reason that this Fog Crystal is so nice too is because it also searches out your energy. So it's not only a search card, but it's also a draw card at the same time. Pokemon Communication, of course, we have a decent amount of Pokemon we're going to want to be Pokemon Communicationing in, and it's also one of our best ways to find our VMAXs, which of course have our big attack and our draw ability. We have 4 copies of Switch, because we're going to be able to switch in our Cresselia first turn going second consistently, so we're playing 4 copies of it. And then we're also playing 4 copies of Air Balloon. Not 4 copies. We're only playing 2 copies of Air Balloon to also fulfill that same switching role to try and get that Cresselia into deck active as consistently as we can. The last 2 item cards is 2 copies of Evolution Incense to help get out our Evolution Pokemon. So we have so many search cards. Only 6 of our item cards in this deck are not finding us Pokemon, which is just crazy to think about. So many search options. Our deck is going to be incredibly consistent. We're going to be able to get out so many Calyrexes and our Cresselia at turn 1. But of course, we have to play a decent amount of energy too, so we can get it into play. We can have enough in play to do some decent damage with Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX. So we are playing 14 copies of Psychic Energy. It is worth noting here that we are not playing any horror Psychic Energies, and this is because it doesn't get searched out with Fog Crystal, because all special energy is colorless energy when in the deck and when in the hand. And like I just said, it's colorless energy in the hand, which means you can't accelerate it with Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX's ability. So 14 copies of Psychic Energy is going to be plenty. You only need about 7 or so in play to do some decent 2-shots and some decent knockouts on some things here. So let me just get this all situated, and that will be the video. But yeah, these cards are coming out in June in our Chilling Rain set. There is another Calyrex revealed as well. It is the Ice Rider CALYREX VMAX. Is not nearly as good in my opinion because it is weak to Zacian, which of course is just gonna take a huge toll on a card's playability. We've seen with things like Galarian or Manatan. But this one is weak to Eternatus. But honestly, that's fine. Like a lot like Dragapult, if we can dodge Eternatus, we'll be fine. We'll be obliterating everything else. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Shadow Rider CALYREX VMAX, extremely powerful new VMAX Pokemon coming out in our June set. Get excited because it is a crazy card. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys liked it, don't forget to leave a like. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe because I do a whole bunch of Pokemon trading card game deck profiles and just Pokemon TCG stuff in general. So yeah, that's going to be it for today's video. I will see you guys in the next one.